Test. Okay. Can I have your attention? The bewitching hour is approaching. I would like to start the service pretty soon. So if you could take your seats, sit down, and we'll get started. Shana, Charlie. We're going to sit down now and start the service. Well, I'd like to welcome everybody to the New Thought Sunday service here in sunny Kealakekua. My name is Stephen Goss, and I am a facilitator for this morning's service, and I hopefully will guide us through today's service without any glitches or mishaps. And my hope my third eye is working, although sometimes I think my third eye may need glasses. Today our guest speaker is Marie-Rose Phan-Le. Let me say that again, Marie-Rose Phan-Le, and we're grateful to have her back again. She's presented here before maybe 3 or 4 times, and she always does such a great job. And the musician for today is Ola, and it's, how do you pronounce your last name? Sangles? Sangles.
She sings like an angel.
Sangle, and she does. She has a really sweet voice. So,
Thank you.
but first, we'd like to start out with a reading from the Science of Mind magazine, and Kathy's going to do that for us. And yeah, come on up. And as a reminder for the rest of you, if you could put your phones on airplane mode or silence them somehow. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. You know, they talk about synchronicity, and I can't believe that what I'm reading for today is just perfect. I was just talking to my best friend on the ride here, and we were talking about fear. Opened it up, and it says, now is the time. Fear keeps us focused on the past or worried about the future. If we can acknowledge our fear, we can realize that right now we are okay. And I can never say his name correctly, but it's Thich Nhat. And one of his sayings is that I live by, if I'm depressed, I'm living in the past. If I'm anxious, I'm living in the future. But if I'm at peace, I'm living in the moment. And that's how we deal with fear. Because of this infinite thing that overshadows eternity and finds its abiding place in me, I know that good is now mine, all good. That was Ernest Holmes. The past is gone, and the future isn't here yet. All we really have is now. When we think of the past or the future, we think it in this moment right now. This precious moment is all we truly own. The question is, what do we choose to do with it? Do we choose to squander it on thoughts of past hurts and resentments? Or do we invest in this moment in thinking about the things that bring harmony to our world? Now is the time to show up as the presence of love. Now is the time to show up as peace. Now is the time to be still and know that we are the ones the world has been waiting for. The truth is, you are the one you've been waiting for. What we do in this moment is important to our lives. The thoughts we keep in this moment are important to our freedom or to our bondage. What are you going to do in this moment, right now? Who do you choose to be? What gifts and talents will you share with the world? Here's the thing. Only you can answer those questions. I ask only that you think about them now, because now is the time, and you are so needed. The affirmation is, I am free now. Now I am abundant. I am love in action, now and forever. I want to break it up. I am free now. Now I am abundant. I am love in action. Now and forever.
That was appropriate. It was so perfect. Thank you. So now we usually do a opening prayer or a silent meditation. Today I'd like to try something a little different because I don't know about you, but often when I meditate, my busy thoughts try to create a podcast of the future or the past. So today we're going to try going within by listening to a couple, maybe 4 poems by the Persian poet Rumi. I'll read a poem and then leave a short space before the next one so that we have time to ruminate over it or contemplate wow, that was man. So if, get comfortable, sit up. It's sort of a quasi meditation here. And the first one is, why struggle to open the door between us when the whole wall is an illusion? Second one. Poems are a rough notation for the music we are. I searched for God and found only myself. I searched for myself and found only God. Is it really so that the one I love is everywhere? This place is a dream. Only sleepers consider it real. Then death comes like dawn, and you wake up laughing at what you thought was your grief. Well, I hope we all got something out of that. Like when I read Rumi, I just go, how can he do that? Like, it's so profound. Ola, I'm cueing you. Could you give us another one of your angel-like songs?
Yes. So I thought, following the reading, the morning reading, this would be a good song. And the song is called Peace Between Us People. And it came through to me when the war between Israel and Palestine first broke out, the year before last. And at the time, the war in Ukraine, which is really close to my home country. I'm from Poland. Is still happening, but was still happening in full force. And I'm an advocate for peace. So this song came through for me. Peace between us people, peace within our souls. Peace between us people, peace within our soils. Peace between us people, peace within our souls. Peace between us people, peace within our soils. Peace begins inside our hearts, shines out like a million lights. Peace begins with each of us, shares out to the world we pass. Peace within the home that's dear, may all strife now disappear. Peace across our neighbor's grass, may it seed and may it last. Peace between us people, peace within our souls. Peace between us people, peace within our soils. Peace between us people, peace within our souls. Peace between us people, peace within our soils. Peace between our governments, may we choose them for their grace. Peace within the soldiers' graves, spirits lost to time and space. Peace to where our borders meet, peace to where our boundaries keep. Peace to all humanity, peace within will set us free. Peace between us people, peace within our souls. Peace between us people, peace within our soils. Peace between us people, peace within our souls. Peace between us people, peace within our souls. Om Shanti, 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 Om. 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 Please sing with me. Om Shanti, 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 Om. Om Shanti, 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 Om. Om Shanti, 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 Om. Om Shanti, Shanti. Shanti Om. Om Shanti 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 Om. Om Shanti 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 Om. Peace between us people, peace within our souls. 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 Peace within our souls. Peace within our souls.
Wow. Thank you for setting the mood for cultivating our souls, which is the topic of today's presenter. A little bit about New Thought. Maybe it's like, why bother to come to New Thought? Or I like to call it No Thought. And whenever I say that in the computer, New Thought, it always comes out, You Thought. So I guess they all work. But welcome. We don't like to think of ourselves here as a church or a spiritual center. So New Thought started out as a religious science church about 50 years ago in a different location. At one time, there was a regular minister who led the congregation. And short story, of course, the minister had to leave. She left. And it was decided actually that a minister wasn't actually really needed. And people on the board stepped up, just like people on the board today are stepping up to do stuff and run the center, and learn to invite a different guest speaker every Sunday of every week. Much of the philosophy, I would say, of New Thought is like a lot like unity and even in a way a lot Christian Science and other New Age philosophies. And it's mostly that we can change our thinking to create better circumstances. And we share the idea that one needs to have faith in the good, a belief in the positive, that life is good. Faith, there's just one great idea, one source, that we are actually all a part of this source, like a drop in the ocean, and not just a drop, but the whole ocean. We help each other to remember that we're, when we come here especially, that we're all connected, that we're not alone, and that connection is happiness, really. And not alone, not just this body, but connected to everyone and everything everywhere. So we invite many different people of different so-called faiths and paths here, but they all seem to have a common thread of something to do with trust, forgiveness, oneness, the faith that you can change your thoughts and have a happier life through understanding of the law of mental attraction. And I certainly believe that law of attraction is real, because just look at my laundry pile. It's like, I can't believe how much I attract. And after all these words about New Thought, the bottom line is sharing faith in the idea there's a divine order to things, to all that exists. It's just kind of like, well, yeah, it's a lot of stuff going on that seems out of place, but ultimately, whatever you want to call it, the source, the God, the divine order, has our, that it's all good. Now is a great time to move on to miracles and ordinaries. So when does the ordinary not seem miraculous? Actually, like, we start noticing it is all the time. Does anyone have any recent unexpected experiences of lightness where things just went well? Doesn't have to be anything big, like you saw an angel or talked to a whale. Just something good you would like to share. And if you do, please come on up and share. If I see any hands. I see movement. All right, you got to be fast around here.
Good morning and aloha, everyone. My name is Leah. Thanks, Stephen. That's better. And I'm just grateful every single day of my life to wake up and be alive and be aware and awake and be able to share with others and to be a good listener and to care deeply. And the more I live, the longer I live, the more I realize how powerful each of us are with our thoughts. Because I've been on the island 22 months now, and magic keeps happening every single day. And those of you that know me maybe know that I paddle. And paddling in a 6-person canoe, this was the first experience last March, learning all the different seasons, and then getting to be paddled with a paddling friend in a 2-seater canoe, which is called an OC2, is a whole different experience, because we are in a 6-person canoe. There's the canoe's this deep, and you're on a seat that's below the gunnel. So your butt, is maybe about 18 inches from the water. So the paddling stroke is quite different. And when you get in an OC2, you're this close to the water. So the paddling stroke is quite different. And the ama is the part of the boat that holds you steady, and hopefully you don't huli. But I've done that too. That's kind of fun. Happens really quickly. And so then, being in the OC2, I started dreaming and wishing and wanting an OC1. I want my own craft. I want to do this by myself, with a group, but by myself. And so I started visualizing and dreaming and wanting. And I asked for that, and I got an offer. I had someone offer up a used canoe. And then I asked the coach for there's storage racks down at my canoe club. And they were all full. And I kept asking and saying, be patient, just be patient. She knows I want one. I'm in line now. So one opened up, and I'm on the bottom, which is really easy to get. I don't have to do this to lift the canoe up, right? And then another canoe appeared from a friend. My friend was paddling, even a nicer one than the first one offered. So it's truly asking it is given. So now I'm paddling an OC1. I have my own craft. It's amazing to be on the water, and the joy and the freedom and the beauty. When I am out there on the water and I look back at the island, sometimes there's a rainbow from tip to tip, and I just am feeling such gratitude for not only that, but for all of you, for this community called New Thought Center, because without this community, with all of you, without you, I might be feeling a bit alone here on the island, but I'm not. And I'm very grateful for all of you. Thank you.
Oh, a great story on manifestation. Candy.
I'm Candy. There seems to be a thread that manifests through synchronicity of things, of how we're all connected, and perhaps all those dreams and desires are not so important. So I was with a group of children, and I realized, I hadn't connected my earrings, should do that. And so I walked down to where the children were climbing trees, because I'm a little liberal on what I allow children to do. And I felt again, earring was gone. So we all searched for it, just a cheap earring, and didn't find. So I took the children back to their classroom. They were having lunch, and I went to look again. And kind of a funny way that I have when something is lost, I ask St. Anthony, finder of all things, for help. And I was doing such a thing. And I had told a teacher who was sitting there by herself at the picnic table having lunch what I was doing, searching around. And so as I was asking St. Anthony for help, I came up and I told her who I had asked. And she said, oh, that's what I was doing. So those synchronicities are such a validation for some tender connection that we all hold. And I just so cherish that.
I'm always losing things, so I have to remember that St. Anthony thing. I think I did it before, and it was actually, what? I always find out I didn't actually lose it. I just sort of forgot where I put it. So, anybody else would like to share? Okay. We're going to have a question for the audience from Marie-Rose now. And we'd like to, keep it to just a sentence or so. There's not too many people here today, but we want to give Marie a little extra time for her great presentation. So, are you on? Your mic on?
There I am. Sorry. So Stephen asked me to come up with a question that would be meaningful to you all and easy to answer. But what I wanted to ask, if you could encapsulate today, what puts you in a state of fulfillment? And it can be fulfillment. And I'm interested in hearing that because it's related to what we'll be working with together today.
Okay, I'm going to pass the mic and just not too many paragraphs, please.
Kathy, and I'd say recognizing the connection that we have to all of it.
Great.
Everything.
Great.
I'm Leah, and loving myself first and loving others.
Well, I didn't have much time to think about the answer, but spontaneously I feel fulfilled when I'm together with someone I love in nature.
Nice.
I'm Shayna, and just being with somebody where we really have a time of connection, that's very, takes care of it.
I'm Elisha Leolani, and I feel deeply connected with the elements. Last night I was sitting by a fire circle, but nobody had come, so I felt very much hovering in a void, in a place of void. And then looking at the evening sky, the sun setting, I realized that I am connected with everything. And it was as if wings would burst out of my shoulders. I felt such a sense of freedom. So, thank you.
Beautiful.
I'm Tony. I love walking at night when it's quiet, looking at the stars and the moon. And just, I don't know, it's just magical. But I also love being with my guru, sitting at his feet, touching his hand, listen to the stories, get the encouragement, the connection, and it just fortifies me. But it's basically and truly love all, serve all, bottom line.
I'm Cindy, and I feel fulfilled when I pause and am quiet enough to appreciate all the abundance that's around me.
I'm Terry, and very prosaically, I feel fulfilled when I finally get out and get things accomplished on my farm.
My name's Charlie, and I get a lot of fulfillment when the internet is cooperative.
You're not alone.
My name is Martha. I am fulfilled by friends and family and a sense of community.
Hi, I'm Chi, and I feel fulfilled when I can make someone truly happy, and I also, if I can also have a meaningful connection with that person.
My name's Tatum, and laughter and travel makes me feel fulfilled.
Aloha, good morning, Jamie. Again, this is right off the cuff, so I'm going to go with the first thing. So fulfillment is self-care. That was a big one for me. It took many years to do that. And then being in service to others, including animals and plants.
Well, I'm Patty, and being in nature makes me feel fulfilled.
I'm Palmer, and I feel fulfilled when I can provide service.
I'm Lloyd, and I feel fulfilled when, of the many goals that I have rattling around in my head, one of them gets accomplished, and I say, okay, I feel good about that. I'm fulfilled.
I'm Margie, and I have felt very fulfilled this morning driving here with all the sunshine and knowing that we are so blessed to have this.
I'm Karen, and I feel fulfilled when I have a balance of social time and assisting patients at the hospital sometimes when I do an odd shift there, and also having my, on the other side, having my alone time and being a bit hermity and meditation at home.
I'm Soul, and I'm fulfilled when I can work on my art because it means I'm able to push aside everything else and just be present and not worry about what time it is or how things are turning out.
My name is Jim,
and I feel fulfilled when I let go of all the barriers to being present.
I'm Ola, and I feel fulfilled when my family life is in harmony to the point where everybody's just doing their own thing happily and I can practice music. And I also feel fulfilled when I have a really nice, beautiful day at the ocean. Yeah.
I feel fulfilled with all of those things that everyone said about connection and such. And music and laughter, of course. But that connection is so, so precious.
I'm Sally, and I feel fulfilled when I recognize every day how fortunate I am to live here and be able to get outside and walk and swim and do what I choose.
Hi there, I'm Nance, and thank you all for what fulfills you. It lifts me up, and I feel fulfilled when I feel connected to the wisdom ocean.
Okay, thanks. Aloha, I'm Erin. Hi, Marie. Well, I like what a lot of people said, especially Palmer. I'll add to the mix something that really, good question for me, because what really came into my heart mind was when I witness or receive a child's pure heart of giving without ulterior motive. And if adults happen to do that, that's nice too.
Howdy, I'm Barca, and first thing that came to my mind is I get a lot of fulfillment after weeding my property for an hour or so.
Great. Well, everybody shared, right? Except me. Well,
And
I'm going to be
me.
sharing a lot, so.
Well, I'll go first. Ice cream. No.
That's fair.
Just a feeling of like, oh, okay, I'm part of it all. I belong. I get it. That I know who I am or what I am.
Yeah, that's beautiful. He said I should answer too. My feeling of fulfillment is when I can be of service and help people to, I talked about this in my last talk, change their states so they can change their fate. And last time you all, I love presenting here, by the way. Thank you so much. And Stephen, can we skip the intro, or do I need to, can I just? It's always
We could skip the intro.
It's so awkward because you just stand there and he just reads about you. I'll promise I'll tell about myself as it's pertinent to today. How about that? What's that?
Yeah.
Okay. What, is that okay, Hank? Because I just feel
Yeah,
like
she's done so much. The intro gets kind of long, but it's fascinating. All right.
So I feel so blessed. This is, I think, my 4th time presenting here, and it's always so fulfilling, our theme for today. And what I love about it is I actually don't like to present to people. I like to experience with people. That's very fulfilling for me, and you all always let me do that, whether it's with my music or my films or my book. So today, I wanted to share that I created a course called Cultivate Your Soul. And why did I do that? Because I'd studied with all these indigenous people, as some of you know. I made a film about it, I wrote a book about it, and then I wrote songs about it. And then I created a meditation album, and now I have a course. And I did that because I feel like we need to concretize the teachings, the tools, and the transmissions. I think those are the 3 things that help sometimes philosophical spiritual practice to land and to be in action, compassion in action. So I didn't write anything ahead of time. I wanted to ask again, may I have permission to see if we can, as I present, change your states so that you can have this sense of changing your fates and dropping into a couple of the modules that I wanted to discuss today, which is cultivating safety is the first lesson, and cultivating community. Seems to be on brand for today. But I wanted to ask people, are you okay if I can if I can shift the energy as I speak and as we work together? I'm going to be like the flight attendant, and you have to like say yes, yes. Is it okay with you all if I work to change the state together with all of you? Okay, great. And we've done that before. So cultivate your soul. Why we want to cultivate our soul? It's this idea that for things to grow, many of you are farmers here. We have to create a substrate, right, that is most aligned for growth so that we're not pulling at things to grow. If we create a nice foundation, then the thing happens, right? And then every once in a while you have to water and add things. But most of the time it's knowing when to take inspired action and when to surrender. And at this time, I feel like we have a lot of fear. And when fear kicks in, many of us will go into our egos because our egos are helping us to survive. That's fine, we need them. But at the same time, I think it's an important time to keep cultivating our souls to create this foundation and substrate for growth and transformation. So in my course, I have 8 steps. And why did I create a course? I think also sometimes it's nice when we're all reeling to have a soft structure. So it's not, do this course and get an A, but it's more like, hey, this week let's look at this, or let's try that. So I have the first 2 things, as I talked about, is creating safety, which we can play with today, and if we have time, the second one is cultivating community. So you all have talked about community and connection, and I think one of the most important things about community is understanding. You'll see the 3rd page in your handout is understanding what sphere of connection and community people fall into. Why is that important? Because it allows us to also have realistic expectation, right? So sometimes you can ask something of a stranger, and sometimes you shouldn't ask that thing. And then sometimes you can ask something of family, and sometimes you should not ask for that thing. Not because of should or shouldn't, but the likelihood that that's a realistic reciprocity request may not be so. And so I think one of the times, or one of the ways that community fails us is when we have unrealistic expectations of what we can do in reciprocity for each other. And so that's one of the things. If we have time, I was going to do cultivating safety and cultivating community. I don't know if we'll have time. So if you had to pick one, which one should I start with? Cultivating safety or cultivating community? Safety. Okay. All right. That's great. That's lesson 1. So you all should have one of these. Ola doesn't have. Do we have another one for Ola if she wants it? And so one of the things that, if you all are familiar with when people take sacred journeys, whether that's plant medicine or other types of journeys or healing journeys, healing transformation, you'll often hear the term set and setting, set and setting, set and setting. It's really important that you pay attention to set and setting. And I found out that many people don't even know what that exactly means. So you don't know. Okay. So the first thing to do in cultivating safety, right, creating a nice foundation for safety is first to have a mindset. So that's the set part of set and setting. And set has to do with intention. So it's just another way of saying intention. Before you start any journey, any transformational journey, any endeavor, it's so important to have the mindset that you want to have in regard to this endeavor. And so whether it's someone's taking a plant medicine journey, you're going to a fire ceremony, or you're going to go to school, or you're going to take a journey, it's really important to have a mindset, right? To set an intention. It doesn't mean that you don't have the ability to change your mind or do something differently, but it's very important to at least know before you leave for your journey where you would like to go, because that intention of trajectory affects every choice you're going to make in regard to that endeavor. And so one of the things that I find that creates safety is just to be clear. You know, I need to get to the New Thought Center this morning by 9. I made it by 9:10. But I had to be clear, this is what I'm doing. So I had a mindset. And so if you extrapolate that to a bigger journey, I want to be able to experience fulfillment in this area. What's the intention there, you know? And when you do that, it helps you to have a sense of direction. So, and why that's important is that we often hear the term surrender. When you're in life, you need to surrender. It's really important that we know what to surrender to and to whom. And so when you have a mindset, you might say, I'm not going to surrender to that person's idea, or I'm not going to surrender to this scary situation. At this time, my mindset tells me I need to take action and leave. So having a proper mindset for the experience you want to have is really important. So it's funny because of the reading that you did this morning, the first part of the worksheet, which you don't have to do now, or we can do some of it together, is questions about where you are today. So who am I in this moment of life? Who do I wish to become? What am I willing to do to experience a new way of being? And my intention for this journey is. And if we don't have time to do all that right now, what might be fun is if you set a personal intention for beginning to cultivate the process of cultivating your soul personally, and then you might want to write an intention for the community, because I feel so much love and mutual support here that I think that if we had a joint intention, that might be fun to check in on later, you know? So do we want to take a few moments just to write a little mindset, a little intention for yourselves in terms of what cultivating your soul might bring for you, or what you might like it to? And you can just fill it in on your paper. That's just for you. You should have one in there. Lloyd, do you have one next to you? Yeah, okay. Oh, not everybody has a paper? Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Usually I just made about 20 because that's been the usual. But anyway, we'll have paper for that. And so does anybody want to share too? And you don't have to. This can be just a very private journey. But if you wanted to share about any of the intention, the mindset that you have that would create safety for you to cultivate your soul together or on your own. Does anybody want to share? Oh, yes.
I see a couple. Was it? Yeah, please use the mic. And while I'm walking over, I'll share. Just really paying attention, conscious of watching my thoughts. What am I thinking?
My intention is finding peace and staying centered while taking action to protect those who are threatened or who are under threat right now, particularly.
Beautiful.
This is kind of personal, but I feel like I have to say it just to put it out there in the world.
Thank you.
But I just got divorced of a marriage of 12 years, and I'm only 26, so that says a lot.
Yes.
But my intentions are to find security and stability within myself and not have to rely on another person for emotional support or happiness.
Thank you for sharing that.
Candy, did you raise your hand?
Okay. What they said. So it's beautiful, and thank you for sharing your intentions, because in my traditions, when people share something like that with a group, we all can add our intentions to your wish, your intention for you, with you, and we can all be in that state of togetherness. And so after you get the set, if you have the intention set, it's safety also requires understanding your safe setting. What does setting mean? Your environment. So for example, here, the community does so much work to create a safe setting for all of us to express, to show up, and to learn with each other, and that's really important. So, what's nice is what are the factors here that make you feel safe that you could replicate in your own life, you know? Or what is it that you know in the past allowed you to feel safe in a setting that also you can replicate? So we talk a lot about, there's a lot of talk about trauma and how we have repetition compulsion to repeat our traumas. But when we have wonderful memories or good feelings about safety, we can replicate them too. And so when you pay attention to setting, it allows you to think, wait a minute, am I feeling safe right now? Having situational awareness. Am I feeling safe right now? And if not, what do I need in order to feel safe? And I know it seems like this is a lot of pondering, but when you start just putting it in your mind and practicing it, it becomes automatic. You walk in, what makes me feel safe? All right, what made me feel safe this morning was we tested the music and it worked. That made me feel safe. Stephen and I talked about it before, and then we did it again, and then Palmer helped us, and everything. So to present, it made me feel safe, and that this worked, right? What also made me feel safe was all your smiling, welcoming faces, because I'm actually really scared to present. And every time I come here, you put me in a state of safety so that I can feel like I can share something with you. So what I was thinking about is I wanted to play some music and give you a little time to answer any or just ponder any of the questions in lesson 1, right? What makes you feel safe, and also anything about mindset. So anything about set and setting. And if you're okay with it, I'll just play a little music just to give you your mind something to focus on, so it doesn't get too lost in thought, but more subconscious, messaging to you. And this is from my Soul Cultivator album, and I created this music to go within the course. And so at this time, just think about, if I'd like you to kind of let the music drop you in a state of safety, and maybe if you want to write down what makes you feel safe and how you can get to this state when we're not together. I think it's on the back side, dear, of the first page 2, I guess, if you will, that just talks about setting. And if not, you can write on the blank page in the back. Give it about another 30 seconds. Just wrap it up a little bit. So I know this is a little bit unusual, that it might feel a little bit more like a workshop versus a presentation, but as I said, I'd rather just create experiences together as we've done traditionally with me here. How was that for everybody? Did you have a sense that things come up for you that were obvious, or were there any surprises of what you need for safety? And is there anything anyone would like to share? Yes. Mm. That's beautiful. So you're saying feeling safe by being accepted as you are, to be able to show up as you are. That's really beautiful. Yes.
Has to do with fear of loss of control, which is what I recognize has shifted onto my son.
And what would allow you to feel safe around that issue? Or would you sense that
I don't know.
the need to control is feeling unsafe? So is it a good indicator for you that you might not be feeling safe, and so you feel the need to control? That's a question. It's not me.
Yes, but I don't know the answer.
Mm-hmm. In my experience as a healing practitioner, when we want to control others or our environment, it usually indicates for us that there's a feeling of lack of safety in our environment or with the people we're around. It may not be a true assessment or objective assessment, but that's how we're feeling. So we tend to try to gather our marbles if they feel like they're going to slide off the table. And it's that feeling of chaos or lack of stability that usually causes us to want to control.
Thank you. I'm Leah, and the deeper I go inside of myself and allow myself to totally trust, just trust, the base of being alive, then I feel safe wherever I am, with whomever I'm with, and I trust that wherever I show up, I'm safe and authentic and kind, and I love being of service. And even in situations where I'm scuba diving and I'm coming around a corner and I don't know if there's a shark there or whatever, it's exciting because, oh, there's a shark there. That's beautiful. So I just trust, and the trust allows me to feel safe wherever I am, and I love that feeling. It feels grounded and whole and valid.
So the question would be then, what do you do to get yourself in a state of trust? Because that seems to preclude the sense of safety.
For me personally, my husband passed away 3 years ago, and I was living in California, and I had wanted to live here for almost 40 years. And so I said to myself, well, if not now, when? But I didn't have anywhere to come to, per se. I didn't know anybody. Well, I have a few family members, but I don't see them. Anyways, my dear friend Carola made a connection for me to come over and house sit for 3 months. So I just bought a one-way ticket, cleared a 3-bedroom house, bought a one-way ticket. I just threw myself out and trusted that it would all work, and it has. So I don't know how else to explain how I get to that trust. It's just a depth of beingness that I've grown into, and I continue to grow into that level of trust, and it just it feels so honest and deep and fulfilling.
Nice. That's beautiful. Yeah. I asked that question as a real question because some people might say, how can I experience that trust? You know, how do I get there in order to feel safe? And I was thinking in terms of the scuba, probably you have trust because you've done the training. And so you trust yourself that you've done the training, you've been certified, you know what to do. So if you're down there by yourself and a shark comes up, you know how to evade, or you know how to. So I think that's the other thing is we don't want to have blank trust, right? Because that doesn't actually create safety. And so sometimes in the spiritual realm, let's say, there are things that are said that I don't think actually serve us. And I'll address one of those things when we deal with community. But in order to trust, there has to be a reason to trust. And that may be you trusted Corolla because she, right? You had that one piece of trust, which is she cares about me. It's a nice idea, so I have a place to go. And so it's kind of breaking down how we can trust, learn to trust ourselves better and trust those around us. And that creates safety. And so it's not a blind trust. Sometimes it's a, I can't see exactly how it's going to turn out trust, but I have to have enough of things that are tangible to get into that state of trust, right? Yes. Yes, yes. Yes. Yes, that's beautiful. I love that adding discernment is so important. So to be able to discern what to trust and when we can trust ourselves and when we can't. It's okay to not always trust yourself, and that you might need a community to help you say, hey, is this, that's why we need each other. And so sometimes they say, oh, just trust yourself. Don't listen to others. No, that's why it takes a village to raise a human, So I love that you said that. It's really important to be able to develop our discernment helps us to feel safer, right? So that's great. 2 more hands. Yes. Go.
Thank you. What I felt, especially last night as I was processing in this void of not having fulfillment, not having people come to see me, to the fire, to share the fire with. While I was in this void, not knowing how to release that deep sadness that nobody had come, I realized, I asked myself, how can I come out of it? It's not that I feel like pinpointing it's because of this or because of that. It has to come deeper from my guts. And it then occurred to me that I am the void. I am the unfulfilled situation, and I am the highest fulfillment of it too. And as I moved into this, allowed myself to move, expand, I felt such peace come over me. And I was both sides of the boat. And I was whole. I am whole.
Yeah, beautiful. Could you pass it to the lady behind you?
I'm Martha. I'm struggling a little bit with the idea of safety right now because in terms of what's happening in the world, I don't feel safe.
Yes.
And obviously I can feel safe in my small environment here and feel like I'm out of the fray. However, I don't trust what's going on outside that right now because I don't know what to expect. And I think the story there is that many of these things have been happening, we just didn't know. So we, we just trusted that everything was fine, and it wasn't. But I was thinking of, I spent a few months living in Russia back in '93 or after the perestroika, and I was walking one evening with a Russian man who wanted to practice his English to go to the U.S. to study, and he said as we were walking, I said to him, because I was working with Russians, why are Russians so pessimistic? Everything is bad, everything is going to be bad. They had no kind of sense of hope. And we walked a bit, and he said, because it's been the best predictor of outcome. And then we walked a bit further, and he asked me, why are Americans so optimistic? And I said, it's been the best predictor of outcome. But right now, I feel like it's not. So that's where I am with the trust thing, is like, where are we?
Yeah.
And how do we find ground?
Yes. I can only address that from my perspective. So I was born into war, and I am a war refugee. And you get into situations where there's bombing all around you, there's going to be food scarcity. And the way that my mom created safety was we would go to the basement. And so you go to the basement, and then she would crochet us presents, this little something something, right? And we're all in the basement together. And I think it's a nice metaphor for what can happen in regard to what you're saying. There's a big, scary world out there, and you know what? Scary things have always been around, as have safe things. And the way to create safety for oneself and others is to first bring it back in to this moment. We're in the basement. I'm going to get a toy. We're going to eat rations from the army, right? And yes, they're those little, what do you call those sausages? Those little Vienna sausages. I just thought they were great because I'm like, I'm eating the same thing as the American soldiers. And so this idea, if it helps, is this is scary out here, but the state of safety is in here. And if it's not in here, what can you do just outside of yourself? Be in community with people with whom you feel safe, right? Remind yourself, do I have water? Yeah, I mean, these are real visceral questions because they'll calm the nervous system. Do I have access to water? Now, not everybody can say yes to that, but I'm pretty sure everybody in this room right now, if we can call it a room, can say that, right? Do you have access to water? Do I have access to food? Am I currently safe in my home, right? Can I breathe? And now with the VOG, we can't always say that. But if you can start asking the questions about the immediate safety, it completely switches your brain. Does that make sense to you? And so I felt like today talking about safety, and so because it's a metaphor, what I lived, but it really works because whenever the world outside gets really scary, and there was a time where I was so happy to be in Hawaii because Asians were being attacked for bringing COVID to the world. And I thought, oh my God, I live in a place where the authorities look just like me, and also there's aloha. No one's going to beat me up here because they think I did something that I didn't do. And so I just kind of start thinking about my closest environment. So the things that are me. Do I have water? Do I have food? Do I have safe shelter? So that automatically calms your nervous system. Just to say, okay, right? And so we go from this macro of that we can't control to, well, what can I answer here? And then you go back, okay, it's my neighbor, my sister, my community. And you just go a little bit, and then right when it gets where it's scary and I can't have much control or say, you stay right here. And you just focus in here. And what happens when you do that? You change your state to a calm, peaceful, safe state. You begin to transmit that to those around you. So it actually does change the world, So it really does start in here, and practically speaking, it does change the world. And because of my history, I went out and met with indigenous healers around the world to find out what their tools, transmissions, and teachings were, because I know that war is kind of part of humanity's learning curve, let's say. And your song piece was just so appropriate with what we're going through now, but that will cycle into. I don't know that as a species we're ever just going to be peace everybody. And so we have to learn to deal with conflict and to not create more conflict within us. Like, why am I so, why am I so lucky and then the world is terrible? That doesn't help anybody, And so does that help, and does that make sense that if somehow inside yourselves you first establish, and if you're not safe, please get to safety. If you're in an area that's not safe or in a relationship that's not safe, get thee to safety, right? Right. So that discernment is what builds trust within ourselves and with those that we feel safe. Yeah.
Could I say something about
Of
this
course.
safety? It's like if I'm not safe, then I'm in fear. I mean, the feeling is fearful.
Yes.
And so usually fear's something you don't know what's going to happen. It's unknown fear, and so I think safety is about going or getting out of fear is going from the unknown to the known. And so, like you said, what do I know? Oh, I know I have water. I know I can have food here. I know this.
Yep.
And for me, spiritually, the known is, okay, what do I really know? Keep going back to the known of what is. Like, who's really in charge of this whole fiasco?
Yes.
And I just know that, in the end, it's okay. Doesn't mean I don't do anything about the way things are right now.
Right.
It just means I do it without fear.
Yeah.
Which will be more beneficial to everybody around you.
Yeah, and sometimes we do have to fear the known, right? We're in a situation and what we know is this isn't good. We have to then take action, right? Inspired action to remove ourselves from an unsafe environment or an unsafe person. And so in the big picture, some people might feel unsafe with public figures, but they're not in your field currently. And so don't allow your system to feel as if they're right here, right now, hurting you, right? And for some people, it is a direct hit. But if it's not for you, don't take that on, because then you can be stronger for those who are getting the hit. Does that make sense? So, and Stephen, I don't know how much time we have, and so I want to be mindful to not overstay my welcome.
Since we have a potluck after the service, we probably don't want to go over too much, but if you could wrap it up in the next 10 minutes or
I
so.
can do that. So what I wanted to do, since community was such an important thing, did you guys feel like you got enough about safety just to have something to walk away with and some tools and practices? Yeah? Yeah? Okay, good. That's great. So now let's talk about community. And you'll see in your handouts, I have this handy-dandy graphic that really are the spheres of connection and community that I've kind of identified. And I found when I work with my clients that it's been helpful for them to identify these spheres and who belongs in those spheres. Do you see that on your last page, this? Yeah. And so one of the exercises, so I'm not going to talk too much now since we have a tight time. I thought maybe we could just go into the exercise. And what I wanted to talk about was when you think about the spheres of connection, the first one, the inner sanctum, is you, right? That's you. And so connecting to yourself is a way to have community. And with me, I have so many different personas that I got a whole village inside here. So my inner sanctum is kind of full. I'm also an introvert. And then you go out to your personal sphere, right? And that's close friends and family, and those can be ohana, right? It can be chosen family. And then the social sphere is community or social network, where you might be more acquaintances, or you're a group of people that have a joint, shared values and maybe a joint mission. And then outside the outer kingdom, I call that the global community. So that's okay, Médecins Sans Frontières, what is it? Doctors Without Borders, or ASPCA, or the things that you do that's more of a global scale, or that you go traveling and you help develop a water system for a community, or you provide service within the greater realm of things. And so what the exercise is, let's see how I expressed it in here. You kind of go through, and you can do this on your own, but together today, if you go through each sector, and I'm just going to play music, and first think about yourself, how you connect to yourself in the inner sanctum. And then you think about, who's in my personal sphere that's safe? Because we don't mean, we have sometimes family and friends that aren't that safe for us to show up as ourselves or to fully accept who we are. They don't get to be in here. So, and it helps us to discern, right, who gets to be how close. And this may be perceived as labeling, but I consider it discernment, because if we don't know from whom we can ask what, we get confused, and then we can get disappointed, or our relationships are difficult. And then when you go to the social sphere, you can think, and you all are a pretty tight-knit community, but for example, New Thought Center Hawaii would be in the community sphere, and then you each have your own personal sphere with each other. Then outside of that, how do you interact with the global community? So I thought I'll just put some music on, and you could ponder and feel free to write down anything that comes to you. Because after that, what I want to have you do is, and it can be outside of here, is have what I call an emergency card, which is kind of like an index card, and you put 5 people in there that are in your personal sphere, and you can tell them that they're in your personal sphere and that you can call upon when you're in need. And those are your top 5 people, and if you don't have 5, put 1, put 2, put 3, and those are going to be your safest people, right? So when we talk about set and setting, inside the set of your social structure, there are some people that you can really depend on for big things. And then you go out, and then some people, it's, oh, can we have a barn raising, and everybody in the village come help me paint my barn. That's in the social sphere, right? Or I'm going to have a dance party. Who wants to come? It's a little bit more public. And so I'm going to put the music on and stop talking. But I'd like you to consider putting people inside these things. And again, it's discernment. It's not labeling people good or bad. It's kind of, I really love in the spiritual pursuits that we have objective assessment, that we can literally say, I love that person. I'm not going to ask them for this. Or I don't know that person very well, but she's always there for me. I don't know why, So then you kind of think, where is he or she in this little diagram? So I'm going to put the music on just so you can just relax and have your heart and mind coherence in answering the questions. This too is in my meditation album. The song's called Wailele, Under the Waterfall. was that for everybody? And you can, of course, take this home and do that. But do you think that was helpful in terms of being able to distinguish instead of just having this community, because it can just mean so many things to different people, and what is to be expected from each other in community? And I wanted to address what you said as well when you shared your personal journey, which is it is important to be able to do things on our own. At the same time, when the world gives us too much, I hope you know that that's the time to kick into community mode and ask for help. And I know that people here are very supportive, but because I think there's a fine balance between what can I count on for myself, or where am I still shaky, and might I need more support from others at this time, and to have this balance, right? So when we go through a split, sometimes we're like, I'm just gonna do it on my own. I don't need anybody. But the truth is, you just didn't need that relationship the way it was anymore. But you still need relationship, and you still need connection. And so I just wanted to encourage that for everybody, not just you, but thank you for bringing it up, because I know that sometimes as well in the spiritual realm, there's a whole thing about, you got to be able to do it yourself and love yourself. And how can we love ourselves if we haven't been shown how to love ourselves well? Many of us may have been shown how to love ourselves not so well, or we can't separate love from pain or love from abuse. And so we have to learn from each other. We are part of a social species. And so one of the things that I like to do when I'm talking about spiritual growth, none of the people I met, none of my teachers did anything alone. And none of them just sat in a hut and then had someone come and then say, you go off and do this by yourself. They brought the entire village to support them in different ways. And so that was one of the most important things that I was reminded of when I traveled around the world was, why would you expect someone to do this on their own? It's such a hard journey. It's so scary. It's so new. We're healing. And so healing in community is really important for all of us. And so I think, and yet it has to be a safe community. So back to our first lesson, set and setting, the environment has to be safe. The people have to be safe. And we need each other. So that's just really important. I just sometimes feel it's a disservice to us as we're learning and growing and struggling to be encouraged to do things that are really hard to do by ourselves. We can't actually do surgery on ourselves, but oftentimes that's what we're being told. You just go do there and then go rip that off of you, and then come back when you're done and whole and transformed. And that's another reason why I created the course, because I wanted people to have a process to lean on and to return to for themselves. So anyway, I don't know if anybody wants to share anything about insights on community. You don't have to, because I know we're a little bit short on time, but it might be helpful for someone else. And for everyone who spoke up, I can guarantee you that whatever you shared was helpful to at least one other person here today. So thank you for doing that. And should we?
No, that was fantastic. You're so articulate. I think you need to come back and do part 2. Really. And it was really good that it's spiritual, but it's so un-airy-fairy. It was like where all the ground rules for becoming more conscious and happy, and like where the rubber meets the road. It's like stuff you can actually write down instead of like.
Yeah, and that's true. I just feel like we have to be able to blend the practical and the magical right now, right? Understanding, knowing when to surrender and when to have inspired action. So the last thing I want to say is, because I want you guys to have access to the course, we can talk about, I have a coupon code for my New Thought community for 50% off, just because I would love for you to just keep going if you want to. But again, the course was an offering of love, just to get the tools out there and the transmissions. So I thank you so much for letting me present. And I forgot I didn't do my bio, so I'm going to do it in 30 seconds. I'm a multidisciplinary artist, filmmaker, author, singer-songwriter, healing practitioner, business consultant. And why is this important is that we don't just have to be one thing And if we're we're multi-dimensional, it also doesn't mean we're a jack of all trades and master of none. And I love to inspire people who are multi-talented in different arenas to know that this is all part of our wholeness, you know? And I thank you so much for allowing me to express that here with you and to bring the different areas of my life here to support you. So, and to encourage you to, when you cultivate your soul, you're actually allowing all of you to emerge, all the different flowers and all the different, you know, species of things that emerge from that which is the substrate of you. And that's really what I would like to encourage. So I thank you so much, and I will hand it back to you.
Well, thanks again. Now we're going to pass the donation bowl, the coal bowl, and it seems like most of us are getting close to the idea that it's really all about giving. So just give your love, give your moolah, give whatever your time. I'm going to start here.
Peace in my heart, peace in my body, peace in my mind, peace in my soul, peace in my heart, peace in my body, peace in my mind, peace in my soul. I cleanse my spirit in the sacred water, the spring of time flowing down the Mauka. I let the water wash away my worries and bring me back to the center of all around me and within me. Kemana ake aina, kemana ake vai. All around me and within me. Kemana ake aina, kemana ake vai. Peace in my heart, peace in my body, peace in my mind, peace in my soul, peace in my heart, peace in my body, peace in my mind, peace in my soul. I cleanse my spirit in the sacred water, the spring of time flowing down the mountain. I let the water wash away my worries and bring me back to the center of all around me ke mana a ke aina, ke mana a ke vai. All around me and within me, ke mana a ke aina, ke mana a ke vai. The power of the water, the power of the water, the power of the water, the power of the land.
Thank you, Ola. I bet you do kirtan all the time. Coming up at New Thought, this will be brief. Sunday services, of course, at 10 a.m. in person here at the center or by live stream video on YouTube. And we have free child care, but please make reservations by the Friday before. Next 3 Sundays, 2/23. Oops, that is today. On March 2nd, Linda Boozer, the Joy Challenge, and music by Dick Franklin. On 3/9, Kayala K. Winston, Astrological Insights for 2025, with music by Owen Costello. We have weekly classes here. Tai Chi with Jen Ann Wong, $15. You come at 4 o'clock. All beginners and advanced people are welcome. Monthly events, Crystal Bowl meditation from 9 to 9:30 every second Sunday. Next event is on the 9th of next month. End of the month potluck, well, that would be today. So stick around after the service, whether you brought anything or not. Special events, Saturday, March 1st, Margie Burgoyce. Oh, yeah, I know. It's just a senior thing I forgot. Bourgeois. Oh. This is going to be a very passionate event, so you should come. It's about independent living. And Saturday, March 8th, Lahua Lopez, Mysticism of Aloha. And that's from 2 to 3:30 on the lanai out here, $20. Saturday, March 15th, Mary Amon continue her Life Wave, the second one of 4 monthly workshops featuring bio-shamanic journeys. I know a newer room right behind us from 1 to 5. Then Sunday on March 16th, we have a special guest, Rafe Perelman, vocal play shop from 2 to 4, and I'll let you say something about it in a moment, Rafe. Thank you. So invitation to submit prayer requests to our New Thought prayer ministry. You can write down a request and put them in this little wooden box on the table. And people are having lots of positive results. Yeah, there's a couple of more announcements. You want to be on our mailing list, sign the guest book to get a weekly e-newsletter, or sign up on the website at www.newthoughtcenter.com. And would you like to say anything else about your work?
I just wanted to say I forgot to tell you how to find the course, which is at marierose.com/courses. And then when you sign in, the New Thought Center coupon is NTC50. And I would love to hear from you if you find it helpful and supportive. But I really enjoyed working through the first two steps, just giving a taste of that with you all. But again, it's marierose.com/courses, and NTC50 is the coupon code.
Thank you.
March 29th, we're having a fundraiser yard sale here. It's a ways away, but give you time to clean out your closets and make some donations to sell.
What's the date? March 29th. Saturday? This Saturday.
Would you like to say something? Not too long, but
sure.
If you can just say what you want.
Sure. I'll be quick. My name is Rafe Perlman. I try to make it over here every year to visit my mother, and this year was extra special because Amber and I got married on. And because of the wedding and bringing everyone over and all my musicians over for the wedding, and I'm not doing a concert this year, but I was talking with Tony about doing a vocal play shop. So that'll be March 16th after Sunday service. And it's a wonderful time to come and get together and play and use our voices and get in our bodies and just have some fun. And my commitment to the voice in my life is from experiential knowledge that the voice is I believe, the greatest spiritual ally and tool that we have for ourselves, and we don't utilize it enough, especially in a safe, beautiful community. So let's see, maybe we'll just sing for 1 minute, and so I'm going to start a little, I'm going to do a little improv, a little chant, and I'm going to ask you to pick it up, and then we'll find something else for this other side of the room here. Let's see. What am I? No, no, Awumbade, 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 awumbade. Keep it going. Awumbade, awumbade. Let's rise up as we're able. Awumbade, awumbade. Aumbade, whoa, aumbade, aumbade, keep it going, aumbade, aumbade, de 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 sanan de amma sanan de ma bade aumbade, and let's join them. Aumbade 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 wore aumbade, wo de de umbade, aumbade, umbade, aumbade. Yeah, thank you, everyone. So we'll dive in deep, just get in our bodies and moving and get close and really singing and really get to open up and just have some fun. I'll sing some songs for you. We'll sing them together. So please share spread the word, and we did bring some little flyers and posters and stuff to share around. So bless your hearts. We'll see you soon. Thank you.
Day. That was unusual. Like, that was a great end. Do we want to still do the Hawaii Aloha. Let's circle up and close this out, and we can all feast.